Hey there, tech enthusiast. Ever felt like you are watching a high speed race? Well, that's exactly what's happening in the world of AI right now. It's a thrilling competition, and the stakes are higher than ever. As you can see, the pace of AI model development has been nothing short of astonishing. The number and complexity of LLM released each year have skyrocketed. With each new AI model release, companies like Meta, Anthropic, OpenAI, and Microsoft are introducing innovative features and capabilities. So, last week, OpenAI released their Owen series of models. They release these models and claim that they are the most intelligent models amongst all of them. That is Sonnet 3.5 and Gemini. Now, we'll test their claims here. Basically, they say that they have introduced reasoning in their own models. A concept we already know, that is chain of thoughts. So, using chain of thoughts, the model actually breaks down the problem into multiple steps and then kind of correlates the information that it already knows and the information present in the problem and then solves the problem step by step. We'll be actually checking this claim. We'll be using some very hard algorithmic puzzles to test against Owen models. We'll be also comparing Sonnet 3.5 to Owen so that we come to know how close is 3.5 to. To understand how this Owen model introduces new thinking dimension, let's understand this example. This is an invoice presented to me for, let's say, reimbursement, and I have to validate this invoice. As a human, sometimes we can find some discrepancies, but finding all of the discrepancies in small amount of time is tough. So I send this to AI. A normal AI will find some discrepancies in currency, in GST number, etc. like this. But let's say what Owen has to say. To test these invoice details against Owen model, we have pulled all of the important information in the invoice. Now, I will be sending this to Owen model and asking it to find any discrepancy with just one instruction, no special instructions included. And here I send, and it will take some amount of time as it has started evaluating through multiple angles, and I hope results are worth the wait. And here we are. It starts by pointing out contact information error, that is invalid phone number, domain, which is good. Next, we see some gap in currency, and the next part is interesting. It says that iPhone 15 was not released on the date this invoice was formed. And this information I did not put any special instructions to evaluate. This is astonishing. Just imagine the possibilities this can do. Just this use case can be used in so many industry and businesses. This is fantastic. It goes on further to point out missing tax information and some more formatting errors. But the highlight, the main thing that I wanted to show you is the product release and the kind of thought process it established to come at this wonderful conclusion. Alex, a detective, is invited to solve a case. Alex arrives at a crime scene. Just like we start with a single thought, in the beginning there is limited information.
maybe a body, a weapon, or a witness. This is like an initial idea or a question in our mind. Step 2 is collecting the clues. At the scene, Alex notices small but important details, like a broken window, a half cup of coffee, a footprint in the dirt. Each clue is separate piece of information, just like individual thoughts in our mind. In step 3, Alex starts connecting the clues. Alex doesn't look at each clue in isolation. Instead, he starts making connections. The broken window suggests a possible break in. The coffee is still warm, meaning the crime happened recently, and the footprint might suggest the height or weight of suspect. Each clue leads to a new idea or a thought. In step 4, it's time for hypothesis formation and brainstorming. After gathering the clues, Alex begins to form hypotheses about what might have happened. They consider different possibilities. Was it a burglary gone wrong? Or it was personal? This stage is where our thoughts become more complex and we start to form bigger ideas based on smaller connected ones. After all the thinking, linking, and investigating, Alex finally has the eureka moment. They piece together the crime based on the clues, leading them to suspect. This moment is a result of all the smaller thoughts connected in the right order. Last step is about conclusion of a thought process. Once Alex has solved the case, he presents the evidence to police chief. The case is solved, but it's important to remember it was the sequence of connecting ideas, each clue linked to the next, that brought them to the conclusion. This is what is chain of thoughts. It starts with initial observation, where a new idea, perception, or a piece of information is captured. Then there is idea connection. Basically, the previous information and the new information, they're all linked together in possible ways. Third, we have hypothesis formation, where basically we built a theory around all of the clues and information that we have. And in step 4, we have exploration and testing. Basically, we test our hypothesis and we test the various ways in which the problem can be solved. And step 5 is basically the conclusion, the moment where we realize, okay, this is the right process where the solution has arrived. And step 6 is communication, that is conclusion or communication, the final stage where the concluded thought or the process that has been acted upon should be communicated to everyone or to the user. While we saw how oven models use different parallel thinking processes to come to a conclusion, but it missed one thing. Did you notice it? I'll come to that in a moment. Let's first understand if any model like Llama, Sonnet, Anthropic, Mistral, which as of now just run on single process, that is, you give them a prompt and they will just sequentially follow that prompt. Can we make these models think like oven, that is, multiple processes trying to solve a single problem? Yes, we can. We can use agents on any LLM models. These agents are like your parallel workers, each of them working differently, doing a different job with a different philosophy, and finally, all workers coming together to form one single conclusion, just like these separate bubbles, having their own universe, having their own word. In previous invoice example, I intentionally put a wrong price of iPhone 15, which I thought it should be able to capture. But Owen, as of now, is using a generic set of reasoning. Your solution may require specific set for specific domains. Like if you're trying to solve for medical domain or legal domain, your series of steps, your thought process or chain of thoughts will vary. So we can actually create an agent that can specifically browse internet and find out all the details of this product and finally come to a better conclusion. We can do this manually using the agents framework. You can use multiple agents framework for achieving so. Some of the most famous one, I have listed them on the screen. Since complete video of comparison, that is for Owen and Sonnet models, was getting too long and I did not want it to bore you guys, so I decided to split into two parts. In next part, we bombard these tough models with some very tough questions. Stay tuned. Let's hit the ceiling of their intelligence and see how much brain do they have in them. Thanks for watching.